It's me, Bankston, Mr. BDU. Haven't had much of a discussion lately. Been a little bit disgusted. Today's topic, yours and my favorite, fake news, which we might be in fact participating in right now. Oh, if I was a prepared person, I'd have the whole room set up. Close your eyes and visualize it. I'd walk over to the family podium and I'd open up Webster's and I'd read you the definition of the word fake. Instead, I'm going to fake the definition of the word fake. Fake means not real. It's also very subjective. In other words, one man's fake might be another man's truth. We're going to roll all over the place and get to the point. Point 1, Valdez oil spill. Point 2, BP oil spill in the Gulf of Florida. Do we remember those? Oh my God, every night we watched. The world was coming to the end. There was going to be so much oil. They were going to kill the wetlands. Everything was going to be horrible. And I'm sure a lot of that came true. But it wasn't profitable to report on it after a certain period of time, was it? But for the weeks it was happening, we didn't eat dinner. We came home, dropped the groceries, and turned the TV set on. Which leads me to believe, not so much in a conspiracy, but in fact that the news... Remember what I said about touching your face 1,000 times a minute or something? I think it's my worry about going bald. Which leads us to believe, me to believe, that whenever there's financial motivation in something, how true can it be? I watch people I admire. I imagine you can guess I'm a liberal. So liberals that I admire. And I watch them stretch truths a little bit or change numbers night after night. Anything to incite their base. When I can take it, and usually I need some sort of medication. Thank God I suffer from anxiety disorders, so I can take a Valium. I watch Fox News. Oh my God. Are people really falling for that? It's like the Rockettes. Since women wear skirts like that with little slits in the back with their legs crossed, all acting like they can't spell cat, and these guys giggling with more Botox in their face than I do. Well, actually, I don't have any Botox in my face lately. There's some age spots. I bought this new stuff, hydroquinone. We'll discuss that later. So, here we go again. Donald Trump certainly would have not been my pick for president. You got to give him one thing, though. Having a couple of other people's bucks, a jet, and a helicopter flying around to airplane hangars, having the rallies there so you don't have to pay rental fees, and throwing red meat at a bunch of ignorant people is a great way to get 48% of the country, wouldn't you say? And they love to throw around these hot button topics. We're going to take your guns away from you. Well, I'm here to tell you, I am a liberal with not only one gun, but 4. And I go to the shooting range. And I study with a Navy SEAL. And if somebody wants to come and hurt my family or myself, I will probably shoot them. That isn't a terroristic threat. That is self-preservation. I have no feeling whatsoever that the government's coming to take them. Now, if I suffered from some sort of mental disability or some sort of anger management issue, I don't really have a problem with them screening me. I think they're asking for very little. But they're so steadfast in their belief that they're probably going to fail the test that they're making it a Second Amendment issue. Let's all face it, we've met Bubba. He's usually at the gas station spouting off something about something in the woods, and there's a white cape someplace. I'm not too sure he should have free access to guns. Having said all of that, I think it's all a waste of time because guess what? They're everywhere. If you can get heroin, I'm sure you can get a Glock. So what are all these rules going to do? Back to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has used the media like a 10-cent hooker. When it serves him, it is the word of God. When it doesn't, it is a blasphemous paper from Germany, 1940, Mein Kampf. And what frightens me is after a while, you put enough hay in the bale and the cart falls over, and guess what? The guy is a shyster. I mean, let's look at it. 28 bankruptcies, a college where you rob people with $35,000 total life savings, not paying plumbers and tile and roofers and these type of people. I've built several buildings in my life. They have to wear knee pads and bend over and align tile in such a way that it doesn't dry and the grout doesn't come up when they clean it. And it is backbreaking work. Doing a roof, you think it's hot in Florida just walking around at 100 degrees. Try doing that on top of a 110 degree hot tar roof with the sun beating on you. It's just not nice. But this bozo doesn't pay his lawyers. And now we're all afraid he's not going to get a good legal defense. So therefore, even if we impeach him, his first screaming is going to be, I didn't get a good legal defense. Well, I got news for you, Donald. A lot of people don't get good legal defenses. So that isn't a defense to me. Too many people he knew and didn't know, including his son-in-law and even himself, are borrowing money from Russia. I don't want to misquote the number. I don't know if it's 33 million, 44 million, 333 million, 444 million. It's some astronomical amount of money that you and I are most likely not going to make in our lifetime. Was borrowed from the Deutsche Bank. And I know the Deutsche Bank is Germany, but it's a global world, you see. Jared is tuned to some billion-dollar debt involved in Russia. The people are starving. They don't have potatoes in Russian, but the oligarchs, this is a fancy word for kings, are busy spending, $50 million on the Winter Olympics so that his niece can do some sport nobody's ever heard of on ice. Ramble. What is this man saying? What this man's saying is it's catching our attention, and depending on our emotional, intellectual, scholastic achievements, we can use big words or little words to explain it, but something is rotten. There's a rat dead in the attic, and the smell you have in your house is not an accident, and air freshener ain't gonna work. Whether we can get rid of the President of the United States, and what I mean by the President, as I mean the position of the President of the United States, I don't know. Not even Nixon pulled some of the stuff he's pulling. But Nixon, from a different generation, eventually said, oh, it's a little too much, and he got on the helicopter and left, died in disgrace. Not this guy. He'll launch a suit with extra long ties. It'll be nice. It'll have a dual function. Wall Street and audio asphyxiation. Look it up. I'm not going to discuss it. All right. So we're talking. So far, we think we won. Excuse me, let's begin from the beginning. So far, we've lost. We have lost. This man has won. We think we win when we have these milestones, like the guy in Hawaii, the judge does whatever he does, and we stop this outrageously politically incorrect bill that, if he'd had a different intention, would have passed, but because his intention had a racist overtone, didn't pass. Meanwhile, he pushed it through twice, and now he's trying to sneak it through a third time. Healthcare, he failed with abysmally in the first 100 days. But then he got it through halfway. Now, it has to go through 3 times, and whether he ever does it, I don't know. He's dismantled some sort of global warming thing that the whole world, including, terrible regimes in Africa are part of. I wish I could remember the name. I'm probably going to have to redo this one. And we're like the laughing stock of the world right now. I mean, he's turned the United States into a political albatross. Has it been good for the stock market? Sure. I've made some money. I'll probably choke on it. But my question to you is, it's going to be fun for the next couple of months, and we're going to bring out Comey, who I personally think did try to screw up Miss Clinton. And I do think tried to help Bush. And then Bush threw him under the bus, so he took his 6'5" ass, and now he's going to try and throw Bush under the bus. Not Bush, Trump under the bus. It's going to be a party in Washington. Party. And every once in a while, Donald in grand style will rent a bus and make everybody get in it and drive 3 blocks over to the White House to have a top secret meeting with 100 people. A top secret meeting with 100 people. That when they come out, they don't even know what to say. The reporters ask, did you learn anything? And they go, it was an afternoon. So this is the question I want to present to you. Very simple. Is anything happening? Or all are we doing is pulling down Donald's pants, embarrassing him, and he pulls them back up, and he goes on doing exactly what he's doing. I do not believe he was a billionaire when he went into the office. I am quite sure he's already achieved that status and will have achieved it many times over by the time he leaves. The only one I admire in this whole S show is his wife. College degrees, raises her own kids without nannies, has an enormously successful business, doesn't bother going to Washington as much as possible. She's a lady. And even if she did something funny to get up into that position, good for her. I doubt she had to. She's got too many brains. He, on the other hand, raised Mar-a-Lago from $100,000 a year to $200,000 a year, so you could have access to a man that everybody who grew up in Manhattan, which includes me, would run the other way from. So let's see what happens. And then will it be fake news if he wins, or will it be real news that real people lost? All I know is news was always subject to revision, and to a degree it was trusted if it came from certain avenues. It certainly wasn't believed that there was pizzerias that didn't have basements, where the leaders of the free world would go have sex with infants in the basement, to the point they get some redneck so crazy he goes in there and shoots up the place. Could we please all wake up? I'm very proud of the country. We're marching, we're writing, we're screaming, we're yelling, we're fighting. Keep it up. Maybe we'll win this time. George Bush's father, George Jr., I should say, his father, said during his little stint in the Middle East, "Why didn't you kill Saddam Hussein?" And he said, very prophetically, the problem with killing Saddam Hussein is, what is the alternative to chaos? So I would like to present that question to you again. We get rid of Donald Trump. What is the alternative to chaos? The vice president believes that gay people should not even be allowed to buy wedding cakes, that women that choose to terminate pregnancies should have to bury their fetuses. I also believe he wants them to watch it happen with some sort of medical device. He's a cuckoo poo-poo, but he acts much better on camera than Donald does. All I know is, if I was invited to dinner with Donald, I wouldn't go. I just don't know if I could get through my escargot while he made a decision to blow people up. Although his last dinner time was with the Chinese, whatever, in Mar-a-Lago. And I don't believe anybody died, and the Syrian airport was working the next day. So he even does that in such a way that he looks like he did something and nothing happened. I know I keep saying finally, but finally, when he says, let's make America great again, what exactly does that mean? Does that mean that I should go back to being a gay person that is mentally ill, subject to being locked up, electrocuted, tortured, had the gay parade away? Women shouldn't have the vote. Black people should sit on the back of the bus, and white male privilege should reign? Or this new compassionate America that Obama was bringing in, where we were looking at things maybe three-dimensionally rather than one-dimensionally, and trying to find a way where we could all live together, might have a chance. What do you say? Let's make America great. That sounds good. When you say great again, all I think about is being tied up and told I was crazy. Hey, listen. Teach only love, for that's what you are. You have a great day. Peace. And as we say in my neck of the woods, namaste.